Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance to the flag of our country.
But I don't have a bank capital.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, everyone's here except Mayor Highsmith, who's home ill. We do have a quorum. Anybody that would care to join me in a prayer? Our Heavenly Father, please watch over us as we do our best to serve the town and surrounding areas of Shoshoni. Please help bring civility into the hearts of all of Wyoming and our country, as this is an election year and things get heated. So please help bring kindness and civility into everyone's hearts and keep it foremost. In your son's name, amen.
Amen.
We need any changes to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I have two changes if possible. A 14A, and this is a business license application for Jordan Whitener Enterprises. And then also,
Sorry, I need a pen. Right. I stole one of yours and don't write. Okay.
and then also a second one, and this would be agenda item 16E. And this is the Town of Shoshone Strategic Plan draft. Make sure you have draft in there. It's a draft.
Were you making a motion to approve the agenda with those amendments?
I so move.
I'll second it.
It's been moved by Councilman Nordine, seconded by Councilwoman Hardicke to approve the agenda with the adding 14A and 16E. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries. Any communications from citizens? That would be you. Anything online?
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I just want to remind you all of the brand new Chamber of Commerce here at the and everything. So if you guys need anything, you have any ideas on how we can help the city of Shoshone, town of Shoshone, please come to one of our meetings. It's gonna be held on the first and third Tuesdays at 5:30 down to Senior Center.
And if you don't mind stating your name for the record.
My name is Freddie Ellis.
Thank you, Freddie.
You're very welcome. Just had some dental work done, so it's kind of hard for me to talk. So
That's tough.
yeah, so, but yeah, if you have any suggestions on how we can improve, just, come on down, let me know or let Jeannie know down there. Of course, Jeannie can't do anything until after 3 o'clock. So
So first and third.
first and third Tuesdays, right, of every month at 5:30 down at the senior center.
Opposite of these. Okay,
Right,
okay.
so definitely. So thank you very much. And thank you, Tammy, for coming down to,
You
our
guys make
meetings.
everybody feel welcome down there, so.
Exactly. So, but thank you very much. And
Thank you, Freddie. Any further communications? Consent agenda, approval of the minutes of February 10th, 2026.
Make a motion to approve the minutes. I'll second. Oh, Tammy got me.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Whitener and seconded by Councilwoman Hardicke to approve the minutes from February 10th, 2026. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Carries. Approval of the bills February 11th, 2026 through February 24th, 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Hardicke and seconded by Councilman Nordine to approve the bills of February 11th, 2026 through February 24th, 2026. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Opposed carries. Public hearing none, ordinances none, appearances by citizens none, department head, public works. Mike, first thing I wanted to, last month you got a phone call and I had to leave during your report and I wanted to apologize to that. I ended up in the emergency room with one of my kids is why I got up and left. Everything turned out good, but I wanted to apologize to you for walking out. I did watch it on YouTube and I thought it was a very good report. I apologize.
Well, good evening, Mayor, Pro Tem Sittler, council members. I have an update on our well house rehab project. Well number 2 has been completed. All except for the punch list. There's a few items that the contractors got to do yet. We are currently utilizing that well to pump water to the town. It's running a lot faster than the old one did. It's about, I'm gonna say 98 gallons per minute more. So I fill up the tank in the 2 foot that we drop it down from 18 to 16, we fill it back up within 3 hours. Whereas we were running it, first time we were doing it in 6 hours. So it's running a lot faster. I'm thinking it's because of the upgrade in the electricity, the electrical.
Okay.
It's running a lot faster. Same way with number 4. 4 is running a lot faster than what it was and pumping more, maybe 80 gallons per minute more. So on that one too, I'm pretty sure it was electrical.
So, sorry, this is you probably said this before, I just didn't catch it. You said the upgrade in electrical, so what was that upgrade?
The upgrades were on the hookups to the transformers.
Uh-huh.
Over at well number 4, we only running 3 wires. But now we're running 4.
Okay,
So it's just, the whole upgrade of the electrical system
sure.
within the pump house and to the main,
Okay.
the transformers. Giving a lot more juice. The other ones were a lot older. And we were having a lot of problems there at times with the electrical storms. When was it Friday, we had that lightning and thunder and hail and all that and other good stuff. We watched the well houses, see if they would shut down like they usually do when we had that type of storm. Before they'd shut down and we'd have to go reset every well house individually. And at the skater, we'd have to reset one. This time we didn't have to do nothing.
Cool.
There was little putting things on top of the well house work, I guess. That's supposed to.
So did that just go from 3-phase 240 to 3-phase 480?
They've been 3-phase, but they're just that we just weren't getting all the electrical juice.
I just didn't know if they moved it from 240 to 480 3-phase.
No, it's always been there, but it's just, the upgrade it helped it out. We've seen that.
So now it's 4-phase, right?
No, it's still
Still
3-phase.
three-phase.
Yeah, it's just the wiring on top and within the well house itself, the pump. I mean, the whole upgrade is what's helping it out. You get a lot more juice. Yeah, well, 4 and 5, they're done too. We just have some minor items on the punch list that needs to be completed with this. Other than the punch list, I would say we're at 95% completion with that project. And our water tank and access road and vault project. The tank blast and recording I have that scheduled for April. But the contractor TMS he's currently in Oregon. They're doing 2 large projects up there. And once they're finished with those projects, they're gonna head this way. I got this information from Lisa Mallon, the engineer for EA, Engineering Associates. So hopefully we'll have TMS here by April. Or maybe later or sooner, depending on whenever they get done.
Whenever they get here.
Yeah, whenever they get here. And I'd like to get that done before we start using the water more.
Yeah.
the citizens start using a lot of water then. Right now, we're not. I haven't seen any increase in anybody using water. I mean, it's been warm, I guess, and people getting complacent, though it gets cold at night. By the way, just like right now, the pump just came on before I got here. I thought, and it'll run till by the time we get out of here, it should be done. On the trailhead project, I haven't heard anything from Ryan Lindquist. I haven't heard nothing from him yet. That's what they're gonna do down there. The east side, sidewalk project, it should be completed too. I mean, I figure 95% too. I haven't heard nothing from Kyle, the engineer from HDR. He hasn't said anything to me yet, so. We should be all done with those. And Mike Letch, he has taken his lagoon exam and passed it. So he is now certified in water and wastewater. But Mike is currently on leave for the week. He had some family business to attend to. I think it's his mother. And he took off Sunday, I think it was. He waited for the snow to melt upon South Pass so he'd get through. But he should be back Monday. But I know he's gonna be gone all week this week, he says.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't have anything else. Any questions?
Not for me, anybody else?
That's really encouraging news on the pumps, isn't it? That's great.
Yeah,
Is the SCADA working a little, getting that ironed out a little?
yeah, we got getting it ironed out as far as, I had one alarm today, but there was nothing. I don't know, it might have just came on because I was over there. I was doing my nitrate samples. So I turned that pump on, manual.
Oh, okay.
I flushed it out the hydrant. I didn't put it into the distribution. So I could get some water out of it while it was running. But then the alarm came on, but there was nothing going on over it when I went back over there. So I don't know.
Thank you, Mike.
That's the only one that ever popped up for a while, man. First time we were getting them all the time. This was the first time it ever popped on here. Like I said, I was over there. So I don't know. But this seems to be working good.
Good deal. So that saves you guys some work.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mike.
but Dusty hadn't called me on that one either. He gets all the alarms we get too.
Okay.
When they come on our phones. He'll call or text. Like I said, there was nothing going on. But we'll check.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, that brings us up to number 14, business license. Which I haven't even seen, but
Jordan.
Mark has it.
have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Question, which now I can look it up myself. What's the zoning at 15 Oak Street?
It's probably residential, I imagine. Sure, I think it was R3.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Can you can kind of point around, because if it's R3, it's home office totally allowed as a home occupation. If you're on your R1 and.
Oh, it's R3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That was my only question, make sure the zoning was appropriate.
it's not, and just to speak on the behalf, it's not gonna have like a business front there, like it's not gonna be like a infinite backling type of situation. The T-shirts are made in my garage and shop, but there won't be like people coming and going from a house because of that situation. It'll be delivered or shipped.
Well, we ran into this situation. Like January of 2020 or something. And R3, I think it's called home office or something like that, where if a guy's doing it in his garage, the main purpose of your garage is for it to be your garage, but in a corner of your garage, you're doing this. In R3, it's completely legal and allowed, and you can put up signage, and it's on the ordinance. I don't remember what size, if a guy cares to, but it's completely, R3 allows that. So
I just remembered it was R3 from when I built my shop.
that being the case, I'd entertain a motion to approve it.
I make a motion.
I will second.
It's been approved by Councilwoman Hardikey, seconded by Councilman Nordine to approve the business license. Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll
None,
abst- I'll
and
abstain
note
vote.
that Councilman Whitener abstained from all discussion other than clarification. Approved.
Yeah.
16A TAD Fund, Shoshone Chamber of Commerce.
So. Briefly. A few years ago, during a more contentious time between the Shoshone Chamber of Commerce and the town of Shoshone, the town council, I guess the right terminology may be, invoked their right to directly manage the TAD funds through the economic committee. Recommendations to the town council, who then approved or disapproved the funding requests that were submitted. Being that as it may, that has been last 3 years, the town has administered those funds to various agencies or entities for economic development, for tourism in the town of Shoshone and the surrounding area. However, the main intention of that fund is through the Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
If one does so exist, that is capable and credible to distribute those funds in a fair and equitable fashion, which we now have the reconstitution of the Shoshone Chamber of Commerce, one that is, I believe, meets that criteria of being fair, equitable, and in the best interests of the town of Shoshone for economic activity and development. Therefore, I think it's appropriate to return the funding as of July 1st to the Shoshone Chamber of Commerce under the oversight of the town of Shoshone, and transition for them
Are
to.
they, all the TAD money goes through the chamber and their board?
Correct. I would like, to have a yearly, the TAD money is reported to the Wind River Visitors Council.
Correct.
And that would be now their responsibility to do that on a yearly basis. But I would like, the caveat in the effort to work together with the town and the chamber to at least give either a written or a oral presentation once separate from the Wind River Visitors Council,
Right.
I think would be or at least provide what they provide to the Wind River Bridges Council to the town to be able to be transparent beyond just the chamber, not that they weren't, but we have other mechanisms to just show how it's being distributed and used. So that would be my request. And they did cast a vote at their last meeting to request formally to have the funds returned
Okay.
to them.
So I guess I would be at the will of the council. I'd entertain entertain a motion to return the TAD funding responsibilities back to the chamber.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Been moved by Councilman Whitener, seconded by Councilwoman Hardikey to return the TAD funding responsibilities back to the chamber. As of July 1st, 2026. Discussion, Councilman Nordy.
Is there so all the TAD money now would be coming through the chamber? That's what, with this motion.
If this-
As of July 1st of this year.
Correct.
Okay,
And
all right. And that's the way it was done before,
Mhm.
before things, yeah. Okay.
yeah, and then they still have to report. And they still have to follow the same guidelines we've had to. It's just less work for the clerk, less work for us, and that's what the chamber does. They're supposed to do, and that's what they're doing.
And we still have some funds in this current fiscal year that we'd be able to still administer through the town while we're working in concert with the chamber on getting them up to speed. It's a new chamber. They haven't done it before, so we would work with them on, paperwork requirements and applications and stuff like that, so they could be able to have a test run, so to speak, before it kicks in July 1st.
Well, I'm in favor of it. I would like to hear about it more often than once a year.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a suggestion, at least minimum, whatever they provide the Winter Rivers Council. It could be quarterly.
Quarterly makes more sense. It takes time for things to happen.
Well, and I think with quarterly, I like that idea. And just with the way they're structuring it, I don't think it will ever get to the point it was once at. But I think with that quarterly follow-up, it eliminates it from the tracks being derailed and, wheels getting off track and then being derailed and becoming what it once was. So I think that's fair, and then that kind of allows a little bit of co-adhesiveness amongst each other, and as far as the town's relationship to there, just make sure that it's, kind of that handoff period too, is what I was wondering. How long was that handoff period for? Catch them up to speed on all the things you would think you'd have to be involved with that piece.
Freddie Ellis.
Yeah, my name is Freddie Ellis, and to put your fears at rest, and I do understand your feelings toward this and everything, but we are going to try to have a Chamber of Commerce person here representing the Chamber of Commerce here every time we have a meeting here. So if you want us to give us a report then to you guys, it may not be every 2 weeks or so, but it will definitely be at least once a month.
Well, quarterly is just every 3.
Right.
Yeah,
That's,
so-
yeah, exactly. But
Realistically, there may not be anything happening every month.
right, exactly.
There probably wouldn't be. It's not like it's a gazillion dollars. but
Right,
It is a
right.
noticeable chunk.
But they
But-
have some
but
really good
the-
ideas that they're talking about doing.
Right, but to lay your fears at rest, we are having at least one person come here from the Chamber of Commerce. So if you guys want to report then, we can give a report then as well as the quarterly. If you like.
Yeah, and I'd like to hear what you're doing.
Okay,
I'm not so much from the fiscal part, that's fine. I mean, we all get that, but the good ideas that Tammy's talking about, well, what are those good ideas? I'd like to hear what those good ideas are. And I think as the partnership, develops to where it should be between the town and the chamber, it just makes sense that, if we can all get on board on the same things and we can work more synergistically, which would be pretty sweet.
exactly. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Like I said, we're willing to work with you. You're willing to work with us, and it's gonna be a great partnership.
I think so.
Exactly. So, but thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for coming and representing the chamber, but I think from the last meeting, I feel like this is a good trade-off, good handoff, whatever, not trade-off, handoff, whatever you want to say, but
Pass the baton.
a good passing of the baton.
Exactly. And with Jeannie being the president, she knows what she's doing. She knows exactly what she's doing. And as soon, we're still working on, a few things from the last, people that had it. It's turning out to be pretty good, but we still are in that planning stage. We're still in the figuring things out stage. But we're almost there. We're almost there. And we got one step going forward. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. But I will definitely, one of us will definitely keep you guys informed of what's going on, and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of returning the TAD money to the TAD money responsibilities to the Chamber of Commerce, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries all in the affirmative. Town of Shoshone accounts receivable policy. We not have one?
Well, we do. So back when I took over as the clerk treasurer and during the audit, one of the things that we didn't have was any of these policies, so I actually instituted them back then. So this is how things have been since. What I never did is never, I guess, I wouldn't say maybe codified it with the town council. It was administrative policy. So I'm just bringing it to council just to.
So this is the same one that's been in
Hmm.
place,
There's some updates, obviously, things that changed like state law, purchasing requirements,
Oh, right.
35,000, now it's 75,000. So there's some changes. So and right now we're also doing a 5-year follow-up of the audit, so it was perfect timing to bring it to council, and hopefully everyone had a chance to read it, but it's how we've been operating since I made the changes back in 2020 or 2022, actually, before I handed it off. In a nutshell, it's follows best practices for accounts receivable, having internal controls, a system of checks and balances to ensure proper accountability and to address issues as they're found. And by following this, having the redundancy is how we're able to stay on top of when errors are made. We are human, people are human, make mistakes, and the multiple levels of redundancy catches those mistakes instead of 10 years down the line, like we got to during the audit back in 2020.
So I smashed my phone, so I was unable to open my council packet because I did not write down my email password.
Oh.
So I'm a little bit behind. Sorry for the delay.
No worries, it's only 4 pages, so.
And I did talk to the mayor on this, which and he had a couple concerns. Well, he didn't know if we could he was hoping we'd table this until next meeting. And it's one of the verbiages that it was his concern where it said the town council versus governing body. Said that was based off of legal advice he'd received from Perry Marple back in the day.
Say that again?
So it says established by the town council rather than saying established by the governing body.
Oh.
I don't know. That was a concern the mayor had as far as terminology. And the other concern he had, and I was unclear on this as well. So does all the departments heads have access to Cassell or just the clerk?
So I guess, sometimes I think he like reads too far into things.
Right, and he is sick too.
So, no,
Ill, I meant.
so it's Casella is what the town utilizes, so therefore department heads they have GL numbers. That is generated from Casella for their budget. So that's.
Yeah, they don't
don't
actually
make
get
entries.
into.
Well, that was a concern. It's like, yeah, that should only be yours.
It is.
And it's spelled
You-
out in here exactly those things.
Well, I was just getting clarification
Yeah,
based on
yeah.
concern I got from conversations with the mayor.
Yeah, no,
But the department heads currently do then go into their GL number and put their necessary.
for instance, Mike's department. I'll print him out, his department's GL codes. That has all the budget and everything, so he has all of that information for coding his invoices. When they come in, then he gives those invoices to me and I input them.
Okay, so that's not changing.
No,
No,
I-
there's,
Just sharing.
yeah, there's nothing that has changed in here. I mean, I guess if we want to play the semantic battle.
the only thing that we are looking at making an upgrade to is a timekeeping module where the employees will input their hours.
Oh, right, like,
Then those hours will be approved by their supervisor,
okay.
and then it gets
Same time.
directly somehow, I don't know yet.
That's how it works for us too.
Yeah,
I
input
can touch on
to
that for
payroll,
the-
which
for
I
the
would
two
do.
different companies I've worked for. The one used Paychecks
Yep,
Flex. The other one now uses Intuit, but Intuit is linked to what they call a time station. But yeah, essentially all of my guys, when I was with Midstream, would clock in. They would submit their hours daily. And then clock out. They could also submit them weekly, depending on workload, etc. But anyway, then in this case, the department head would approve those employees' hours.
yep.
But right now, that would be, wouldn't really be a policy per se. Well, I guess it would be, for timekeeping policy, but,
I don't even think it's that, because
But
you're
right now-
doing that now with a written paper.
but this is accounts receivable, accounts payable. Those are the major policies that involve the actual transfers of monies in and out of the town. And it's spelled out very clearly, as it always has been. The town clerk, deputy clerk, and court clerk are the only ones that are mentioned in here, so. There's no. I guess
We have limited access, sign-on access. So,
I get it. Like I can log on to Cummins, but I can't do anything that the administrator can. Same kind of thing. So that, yeah, it is important. I would just pass along concerns and you guys have heard my,
I feel that we can
I-
move to
I was gonna
through
say,
this.
you guys have heard my remarks shared from the mayor and they've been answered. So what's your
Yeah.
pleasure?
I approve this
It's been moved that we approve the
accounts receivable.
accounts receivable policy for the town of Shoshone.
Because its questions have been answered, I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the accounts receivable policy. Any further discussion? Although hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries all in the affirmative. Town of Shoshone purchasing policy.
again, this one's a little bit shorter. It's pretty much taken right from state statute. And just spelling out the town policy as far as how we do things. We have an approval process, department heads verify and invoice when they buy something, code it, ensure they have the budget available to be able to expend those funds. The clerk treasurer reviews, prepares the payments, town council then approves the invoice on a bill list. No employee may approve payment to themselves. Payments are issued by check on a regular schedule, second, fourth Tuesday of the month. 2 signatures are required on all payments. Blank checks must be secured at all times in a locked safe and when not in use. Electronic banking access must be password protected and limited to authorized personnel. Purchasing thresholds. These are under $10,000, no formal bidding. Department heads should seek reasonable pricing and document vendor selection, which we've done numerous times. As examples, 10 to 75,000. Obtain 3 competitive quotes if practical, when practical, which we've before it was 35,000, but now it's that. Obviously, documentation must be retained, and the quotes may be written or documented verbal quotes. For those over 75,000 requires a competitive bidding procedures consistent with Wyoming statutes. Public notice shall be published as required by law. An award made to the lowest responsible bidder unless otherwise permitted by statute. Public Works, formal sealed bids required under Wyoming Public Works statutes. Bid security, performance, payment bonds required when mandated by law, and contracts must be awarded by the town council. Professional services are exempted from those and can be negotiated fees that still require formal approval of the town council. It does allow us to operate in joint powers agreements or other cooperative purchasing arrangements, which are approved by the town. Ethics and conflicts of interest, officials, employees, again, shall comply with Wyoming statute. As I've repeated numerous times, it's
Bombing statute.
no employee or elected official may have a financial interest in a contract with the town unless legally disclosed and permitted. Gifts or gratuities from vendors are prohibited. Splitting purchases to avoid bidding requirements. So I think you need an explanation what that is, but it's.
Oh, I know what it is. Give me 2 invoices so I come up
Yeah.
to the max.
So we can,
Never happened.
Mhm.
so that's.
One for parts, one for labor.
Signing contracts without council approval. So again, requires the approval of council before any contracts can be signed. Using town fund for personal benefit. Internal controls. Which the main goal is to reduce the risk of error or fraud. Duties for purchasing and reconciling bank accounts should be separated whenever possible, meaning that the same person that purchases, reconciles the bank and spends the money shouldn't be the same person.
Yeah.
Which is why we have a deputy clerk court clerk and that process. Bank accounts must be reconciled monthly. All payments must be supported by documentation and retained according to Wyoming statute and town records retention schedule. Checks require dual signatures. That's one of the biggest changes that I made when I took over as a clerk is that only one non-elected official can be a signatory. So before we had the clerk and deputy clerk would sign their own checks and never go before council for approval. So that's no longer possible.
Back in the good old days.
And the other big thing too is that whenever there's a change of key department personnel, whether it be department heads, clerk treasurer, or governing body following elections, the signatories are reviewed. As you remember when Councilman Nordine and Councilman Harkey, you guys were seated on the town council. First thing we did was change signature card. And then all quotes, bids, contracts, and related documentation Again, are retained in accordance with Wyoming records retention requirements and town policy. And I mean, it's pretty straightforward on the purchasing policy, but it lays out the process.
Well, you guys have heard the town of Shoshone purchasing policy. What's your pleasure?
I can't be there.
Make a motion.
I'll make the video.
You making the motion? All right,
I'll second it.
it's been has been moved by Councilman Whitener, seconded by Councilwoman Hardikey to approve the town of Shoshone purchasing policy. Is there any further discussion?
Actually, I have a question on the prohibited practices. Oh, no, not that, on the internal controls part, on the last page. It says bank accounts must be reconciled monthly. Absolutely. I mean, I agree with that. But is there monthly by the 15th of the month, monthly by the 20th? You know, I mean, is there a good practice to say, give me an end date? I mean,
So the easiest way to answer that is your bank statements. They're and every month.
I know my bank statements. I'm asking about the town. Is there a smart
It's like the
Does there need to
first
be-
week.
first week? Okay. And that's just what's happening. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause you want to get it done.
Yeah, sure. But if you weren't here, what would happen?
It'd be the second week.
When she gets back.
Or the third week?
No, as long as it's done by the end of the month.
Yeah.
Depends when it comes in the mail too.
Well, you know, and being done by the end of the month, you know, with a fresh new budget, no big deal. But, you know, maybe at the end of the month, you know, the end of the budget year, that might be a bigger deal. You know,
Actually, we have till August 15th. By state law,
by August 15th.
after the end of.
That's fine, but maybe it would inform decisions, purchasing decisions, if it were, you know, so we go July to July, right? I mean, that's the state cycle, right? So that's part of that.
30th of June is the last day.
Yeah, but if an account is, I mean, if we need to make budget adjustments, you know, do we make decisions on purchases?
So those have already been spent and checks have already been cashed and cleared by that point. So,
I'm hearing it's not a big deal.
No.
Yeah.
it's not.
So.
yeah, so like it's already been approved by council, checks have already been sent and cashed when we reconcile. So,
So we never run out of money in an account.
no,
No.
not yet.
No,
Yeah.
I believe you. I believe him too, but I just, you know,
I'm big on that. It stresses me out.
he gets,
If we start running low, we just write a couple more citations.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the good old days when you could float a check for a few days,
Like,
they're
no.
gone.
Writing the citations, you got what first?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
exactly.
That's true.
That's the,
let's get a system where, do we have a credit card system so somebody can pay their fine
Yeah.
right away
Mhm.
in the car?
yep,
Yeah.
That's
In the
cool.
car?
yeah, they can literally pay.
Yeah.
They can do it online.
Yep.
Well, I
They
know
can-
we can do that, but I mean, you've got your speeding ticket, here's your ticket, we can take your credit card.
Here's a
right now.
square.
Square swipe.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, they have a QR code they scan on their phone and they can pay literally 10 seconds after they've been issued a citation, they could pay.
Okay, so, but we don't offer them okay, that's buddy trailing. Never mind. I was just.
That's actually covered on the accounts receivable policy if you go back.
We already passed that.
It's passive, we're done.
Okay.
I'm done. Thank you. You know, it never happens. It's never gonna be an issue. I get that and I appreciate that and I would expect no less because that's.
It's
knowing you
just-
folks, it just would happen that way.
It's really operating off good accounting practices.
Yeah.
Any further discussion on the town of Shoshone purchasing policy? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, all in the affirmative. Economic Development Committee recommendations.
So the Economic Development Committee met last week. One thing we've been working on and talking about and discussing has been the Shoshone Marketplace. So that was just I think the best name that encapsulates what we discussed and what we were trying to accomplish with this recommendation. So in a nutshell, one of the biggest things that was identified by the town of Shoshone citizens was the need for a market or a grocery store of sorts that the town, if you remember back when we did that was one of the number one things that we don't have. We've waited 5 years now. There's no businesses coming knocking. A lot of it is because we don't have a financial interest outside, Fast Lane obviously is not a grocery store. It is a C-store. But we don't have a business that has hundreds of thousands of dollars to construct a facility and make it into a grocery store. So that is the biggest impediment to having a grocery store in Shoshone. So what we looked at was how can we bring to reality a grocery store for the size of Shoshone that could be successful and be able to meet the demands of the citizenry to some extent and be self-sustaining. So what we looked at was a couple different approaches, one of which is the old library building, which is an open floor plan. Walking through it, it actually has a carve out where the office used to be with a kiosk and a pass-through window for a sales counter. It's 2,000 square foot. So the next thing we looked at was what would be required to have a grocery store for these Shoshone. So we're looking for open face refrigeration, a freezer component, and approximately 8 double sides, so 16 shelves, rows of shelving. And then to bring home the whole marketplace theme, looking at locally sourced meats, as well as farmer markets, being able to have their wares seasonally in there, as well as, normal, lettuce, eggs, what have you. And having a framework of selling that through a small commission or something to that nature. So when we were pricing things out, on a conservative side, we came up with 35,000 was more than enough to be able to get the POS system, the refrigeration required, and the shelving needed, and then some signage, a little bit of lipstick on a pig, paint. So, but that's just the framework of this. So the biggest thing was this, that we don't want the town, we're not, New York City, Mandami going to run our own grocery store for free. What we want to do is meet the full requirements, or not requirements, but the full expectations of what is economic development. So the proposal is to put out a RFP and locate, before any money spent, before we do anything else like that, identify the concept and match that through an RFP with a person to lease it from the town of Shoshone. And through that lease payments, recapture the money spent over time to refund on the economic funding source, while providing a need for the town of Shoshone, while providing economic development, sales tax, and while providing a job. And only when those are met will we go forward. The model's already been met, i.e. the town clinic. We own the building, we own the equipment, we lease it out. We don't charge anything for it, but we do lease it out. Thermopolis also has, I believe, the Wax Museum. The town of Thermopolis owns that. They lease it out to a vendor to operate and run as a business. So that's the core concept, is finding someone that is through an RFP that's interested before any progress is made. Screening that, coming to an agreement, and then moving forward at that point to get it initially started. So one of the biggest things for the town is, failure rate is largely based on existing debt that you come into So in this framework, it alleviates to a large extent that front loaded debt to get started and be able to operate while ensuring the fiduciary responsibility of good investment from the town for economic development. So that's, I know a lot.
And what exactly is an RFP?
Request for proposals.
So it gets sent out and then people respond to the RFP with their propositions,
See
basically.
what we're hoping for. is
No,
that
I get it.
Somebody
Oh,
will come in and say they'll bring in Frank's Meat House and sell their meat there. Same thing with the farmer's market inside there. That's actually helping the community and it, because I know the senior citizens are having trouble transporting their people now. We need to figure out a way to get those people to have access to groceries.
They do, they got that deal in Riverton. I haven't been there, and the one in Lander too, where they
Mhm.
have. I think that's a co-op owner. I don't know how they did it, but.
But yeah.
But you're talking the
Same-
same
same
principle
deal.
where you drop off your wares, somebody sells it, but
Well,
then they take a commission for
And
doing
that's
it.
part of it, some of it would be traditional sales, of traditional,
Oh, right, yeah.
camel soup and.
If they
things
had
like
that plus the fresh,
And- and-
whatever, they can make a buck off
Yeah,
whatever
it-
people need.
Yeah, exactly. And the idea is not to eliminate, the expectation is like not gonna be such a large variety that you're never gonna go to Walmart again.
Right.
It's just to, instead of going to Walmart twice a week or 4 times a month, you go there once a month. And you're shopping locally and providing
See the price?
this environment. And,
Don't we charge them that
through the
much?
leasing fees, recapture that money so it's still available for future economic development down the road as well, not just building it and then. So we want someone to be successful, and that's the first step, is finding someone that can be successful before we go any further.
We had something similar to that, like early 2000s, but the problem was the guy running it was too kind. Gave people credit.
Well, and
No.
we had talked at the last meeting we were a part of and, obviously we hope that piece of the food prospers and that's the main focus. But I mean, how many times do you run to town for a bag of nails? Wouldn't it be nice that the grocery side of it alone produces well enough that maybe they don't have an insurmountable amount of nuts and bolts and nails, but maybe a small selection in that case. But the concern I had, and I'll speak out on it, was spending the money before we know. And that's where Chris had clarified that the RFP is basically saying, hey, let's find somebody that
Yeah,
has an interest
And
and
maybe-
then we'll take that step. But to do so, we need the council's blessing so not spending any money, looking to find somebody that would,
put it out to see if the interest is there.
because we may have 0 people respond and say,
Right.
I
And that'll
ain't
be
doing
the end of
that.
it.
I want no part of it.
Cause the wages wouldn't be real good, really. I mean,
Well, and it's gonna be someone's gonna be running their own business.
right, and they wouldn't be making a
They
whole
might be the
lot.
only employee and they might make, $80 a day, $100 a day, but. That adds up and then the beautiful thing about this is that you have the core amount that we're, looking at here in Shoshoni, but you're also very customer driven by the needs of Shoshoni. So you have
Right.
people that come in and say, hey,
Maybe next week you pick
yeah,
this up.
so then through that, you're building it up, but without having that front load of debt.
Oh, yeah, there's a chance they'd survive.
Exactly. So that's a proposal.
That'd help everybody in the town and
Mhm.
So the 35,000 would be able to set it up, but then also stock it up.
no.
Yeah, well, set it up and do an initial setting up of inventory
Yeah.
to start growing. So it's not gonna be like tomorrow it's gonna be everything's gonna be full. It's gonna be a process, but getting that initial setup to start,
The main
Grand
expense is on
opening.
them.
the basic stuff that you need. And then as the town says, hey, we want, we had.
So the RP would have what they're going to want to stock then, I would think.
Yeah, we can frame it, the expectations are, it's not gonna be like a Whole Foods, you know?
It should be.
Should be.
I
But
don't
it's
think a
gonna-
Whole Foods would survive in Shoshone.
It's gonna be trying to. So the biggest thing is, you go to a butcher here locally, grass-fed cows, and you spend $6 for a pound of beef. You go to Walmart and you spend $4 for a pound of beef. You cook that
You
pound of
can buy
beef.
Walmart beef at Walmart for $4 a pound. It was 8 something for a pound of burger. I actually bought one.
I'm just using just numbers, okay? My point being is that grass-fed, locally raised beef, when you cook it, your yield is so much higher that it's better, no antibiotics, better for you. I think all the problems that we have health-wise is because all the crap is in our food to begin with. And you're also having a lot of local, we're ranching community, farming community, so.
So what do we think the cost for the RFP might be? Is that we're just.
It would be anything.
So basically, the Economic Development Committee is requesting that the council makes a motion to put out a request for proposals for a Shoshone market as discussed, because we just discussed.
Yep.
But to be able to do so, we gotta if we find somebody that's presenting enough for that RFP, we have to be able to set it up for them.
Well, yeah,
We gotta
that'd be the
start.
next step, yeah.
Next
but
step.
Initially.
And that expense is the coolers.
And
Yeah,
there
cool.
would be funding for that somewhere.
Yeah, we have $63,000 in economic development funds. Sorry, I should have said that.
Well, I'd hate to throw out for an RFP and then this person right here, I love their proposal. Oh yeah, we can't afford that.
Yeah.
But the idea is also to recapture that money and not just spend it.
Understood.
Right.
We probably should allocate an amount to advertise for that.
Well, we have money and we have advertising.
He's bringing it up because we need to talk about it. Has to be discussed before you approve it.
Oh, advertising.
Yeah, that is a cost, yeah.
Yeah,
But we don't know what that cost is, but.
for advertising, couple $100
$75.
in newspaper. And other sources.
Kim said $75.
Huh.
Kim said about $75.
Something in there, yeah.
So we're looking for a motion to approve the RFP for the Shoshone Marketplace, as we've discussed in this meeting, including the cost of advertisement.
At $75.
Well, maybe more than that.
Well,
About
up to $200 or something.
Yeah.
So I would entertain a motion for that if it be the will of the council.
I'll make a motion to approve the Shoshone Marketplace RFP with a up to $200 advertising budget.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Whitener, seconded by Councilman Nordine. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Uh-huh.
Opposed? Approved unanimously. D2. Inc. 15.
So I'll just briefly cover what I did pass out a copy of that. So another second matter that was discussed at the committee meeting was by Jordan Whitener, his business Inc. 15, which is a t-shirt, hat, pressing company or business that he began initially back during hot summer nights. We would buy and produce our own t-shirt. Well, we actually had a person in Riverton had a company and we would design the shirts and then he would press them and then we would give them out as part of our hot summer nights 3-on-3 basketball tournaments, as well as our day in the park. Well, he decided to go out of business, and so Jordan bought out his equipment 2 years ago or so, and started producing himself our t-shirts that we use for the 3-on-3, as well as other people's shirts for order. So here's some quick pictures of some of the stuff that he produces with his equipment. And so that's like our 3-on-3 example. And then baseball hats, basketball jerseys, kind of the whole gamut.
That one's pretty cool. I want to
Yeah.
interject there. The gentleman on that, I actually shot him and with a camera on the job and then transpired him into my design software. And that is a gentleman by the name of Courtney Wall, who is owner of or part owner of Legacy Foam Solutions. So that's actually his silhouette. So that was pretty cool.
So these are, again, just some of the examples of different companies, different businesses that have not sure where that came from. So currently his business, there's a couple of things that have brought the request for funding to the committee. So two of his presses, the Hotrinks IQ hat press and the Stalls auto clam heat press are the two biggest pieces to produce the shirts and the hats that we're seeing. So these were purchased used a couple years ago, and for lack of a better term, they're no longer functionable. So Jordan is unable to continue with the business as is rest of the equipment he has, but these are the two biggest pieces that are required to continue. And the last one is the sublimation printer, which is another way to give a better quality press than, like when you go to a shirt, you go to Walmart, you buy a t-shirt, you wash it one time and it's already starting to fade. So you know what I'm talking about, because it's just printed on top of it. The sublimation actually puts it into the fabric, so it when you stretch and it brings back together, it retains there's an example. So it's a much higher quality product. So the initial request was to help in purchasing replacements for those pieces of equipment, which was approximately $7,000. And then the third part is trying to expand and create a job as a part-time person, whether it be from high school, kids in the school, summertime jobs. As you get orders, some of the orders are up like 2,000 t-shirts. And so you would hire somebody, and that would allow $3,000 would allow him to purchase the payroll support and all the other applications required to be able to process that and be able to expand the business into a job market for kids, basically. Or even someone that just wants a side job that, gets off work and just wants something to do as a side job. And what was discussed at the committee meeting in the absence of Jordan was repayment of the funds what was discussed was 50% would be repaid within 2 years. And that was the recommendation of this for the 7,000. The $3,000 one, that one would be repaid if we went to that one over time at 100%. So for the 7,000 would be 50%.
The total payback would be
50%
50%.
of the key requirements for the business. Payback 50% in 2 years. And then the 3,000 optional would just get paid back if that was something that was that path was ventured down, that it would pay for itself and be paid back. So I guess you could say out of 10,000, 60 something percent would be paid back. If all there was, then that was the recommendation. But I don't know how Marshall, I guess, can give guidance on how Jordan can present his as a council member, since he can't vote on any of this. So I don't know if he can present it or not, or
He could, my suggestion would be that he present it and then leave.
leave the room.
Yep.
Okay. Does he need to come up there and present?
No, you can make him do that if you want.
Okay. I just want to be legal.
Yeah, no, he just can't, before there's any discussion or deliberation, he'll have to.
Okay.
So the idea of this is clearly not a handout, pay some stuff back. I have about 40-some thousand invested into this and equipment. I have a $20,000 direct to film printer. It's kind of what's taking precedence over sublimation in today's era, or not sublimation, but screen printing. Screen printing is kind of getting to the point where it's obsolete anymore. I mean, people still use it, but it's not really what's in. Direct to film is just quicker, cleaner, and pretty much the same quality. And then the 5-place color wheel do the screen printing and everything, the 150 plus screens, industrial cooker, cook about, which when I say cooker, curing the shirts, cures probably about 8 shirts at a time. Runs it on a conveyor belt and kicks them into a bucket to cure that screen. But the idea is I've kind of built a little bit of a clientele. It's just a side gig for myself, but I've built a clientele with Pepsi and some other larger places. And the motherboard went out in the main heat press that I use for that $20,000 direct to film printer I bought. And I replaced the motherboard at $1,900 and it didn't cure my problem. So was out $1,900. And then just so that everybody's aware, I don't have any outstanding debt or a loan to buy any of this. I paid cash for all this stuff. So when I left the last company, I had a good severance package that was allowed me to do some of that. But basically what I'm saying is I'm not stacking coins on coins, if you will. But yeah. And then the idea on, finding somebody to help, package and box stuff. Some of them orders when you crank out 1,500 Pepsi shirts, Pepsi buys them and then they give them all to their delivery guys, etc. But yeah, that's really all I have. If anyone has any questions, I'd answer.
Guess you all leave now.
Well, I said if anyone had any questions, I'd answer them. If nobody has questions.
I'll make the motion to approve this.
That's fairly vague. I'm gonna need more
On the
specific.
E15 for him. The proposal he offered. Which is equal 7,000.
7,000 for 50% payback in 2 years. and then the option for the 3,000 additional at 100% payback. That's what I presented.
Right.
I'll second that. So I do have a question. I'm sorry. You need to,
Okay, it's been moved by Councilwoman Hardikey, seconded by Councilman Nordine to do economic development funding to Inc. 15 for $7,000 to be paid 50% back within 2 years with the option of another 3,000 to be paid back 100% also within 2 years. Did I
Yes.
get,
With the hiring of an employee.
but the extra 3,000
It's
is
for the
contingent upon hiring of an
Employee.
employee. Did I word that
Yes.
the way you meant?
Yep.
Okay,
so,
discussion.
thank you.
Councilman
So
Martin.
what is the philosophy behind not 100% payback?
Well,
And that's a standard process for the Economic Development Committee, is that correct?
because
No.
well, the way that we looked at it when we discussed it was that for him to operate, he needs those two core pieces of equipment. Without those, he can't operate. But if he's going to expand to a level that he has enough profit and he'll make enough money to hire an employee with that $3,000, that should be able to come back over time, 100%, since you're expanding. That was kind of the philosophy behind that.
Cause he just felt that, when we talked to him, that he was giving back for somebody else. You know, which I thought was kind of cool. Instead of taking, he was gonna. Cause there's a lot of people that just come forward and want money and nothing back, you know.
It's giving back for something else, I'm sure.
We'll
something-
say for somebody else pushing back, coming in wanted money, there's money back in there because he's one of them that paid it back.
Oh, so most of the time we don't get that money paid back?
So
Okay.
yeah, and that's what happened with a lot of the other communities, is they just handed out a grant and never got it back.
Okay, so this is really grant money. But he's
It
paying.
was off the half-cent sales tax,
Correct.
isn't it? And we didn't blow all ours.
No, I just.
No,
just
I
trying
mean,
to understand the philosophy. of what
So
we're
this was
gonna
off
buy
the
in.
half-cent sales
This
tax.
is what he offered to us when he came to us with it.
Yeah, so that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And this is also one of the mayor's biggest things is recapturing proceeds from this fund so it can continue to
Yeah.
be
so
available.
long.
So I feel
All right.
And I'm assuming since he says he's been doing it, now that we have a business license, it'll generate tax revenue for the town? I assume,
he charges taxes.
I mean,
You have to.
kind of have to, I mean, it's the point of economic development, I think.
Yeah,
This is. The wholesaler doesn't. Pay. Tax, but a retailer would.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
I guess.
I'm going with yes. Yeah. Right.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Um,
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries.
everybody here, so unless that's.
we have his,
Oh, A2A, that's right.
We amended the,
Yeah,
yeah.
do you have? You need one too, did you?
My back.
try to go fast.
Do you have?
No, I kind of put them off to you because I didn't want to amend it.
It's on the tablet too,
Oh,
at the
okay.
very back. The very last pages.
Say the wrong thing.
Sorry. heard you went home.
No, we got locked out.
Oh. Oops. Way to go.
Heard Jake out there, but
Yeah, I was gonna say Jake got lost.
I heard you. I heard you say, I don't know where he went. And I said, I'm out here, but the door's locked. I couldn't.
Oh,
All right, we're all back. Yeah, I went out in front of the, like in front, in that little office out there. By the library.
well, one of the deals on that, I guess,
It's this,
since it's
this is.
a done deal anyways. The whole hot summer nights thing that's been a real boost for the economy, and this part of it's all the t-shirts and all that too. So I mean, it's like,
That's how it works, right?
yeah, I mean, it's, I think everything's kind of intertwined and it's moving along,
Okay. Cool.
unless anybody else has anything else to say.
Sounds like a good job. Yeah.
16E Town of Shoshone Strategic Plan Draft. We have a presenter on this, or did
That
our
would be
present?
me.
You?
Me.
All right, please, Councilman Nordine, please present.
So this is a product of our A2A committee. And so one of the charges from the mayor was to basically draft a strategic plan. And this has been something that's been near and dear to my heart for what I thought that the town of Shoshone could really utilize quite well. And what it is, there's two plans that the state utilizes. One is a strategic plan and one is a master plan. We're required to have a master plan, but we're not required to have a strategic plan, but they relate together. The strategic plan is more of who is Shoshone, where do we want to go, and what things are important to us. And so it helps to guide decision making. And then the master plan is really more the physical plant. You know, it's about the roads, the development, all the work that Mike and his crew have been doing with the wells and, the infrastructure that you have talked about multiple times. So it's that sort of deal. It's the master plan again is this part of town is this code or whatever, sorry, this other part is this, so it really kind of, that defines the physical plan, but this is really trying to define who we are as a town and where we want to go as a town. And again, it's there in order to guide what we do. I mean, it really is to guide what we do. Ken Kondo, who we all know, I mean, as part of what he was doing with the Parks and Rec in the state of Wyoming, they had to have a strategic plan as well as a master plan. And the college, which of course is my reference, I mean, a strategic plan is a huge financial guidance document that we make. And basically it's like a 5-year plan. And so the length of the strategic plan can vary. If you make it too short, then it's we didn't do some really good thinking. You can make amendments to it as you go along, but the idea is you should have a plan that should, actually go multiple years for consistency's sake, if nothing else, just to guide the direction in the town in the right direction. So we do have a strategic plan, and it's really built off of this type of design that you see in the structure of what I'm sharing with you today. But then we also have a master plan. And with that, we have architects that come in from Cheyenne and Denver. They come up and they go through, what's going to happen in the arts center. Well, and so what they do is they kind of lay out what we want to do in the arts center, physically. So again, that's my reference. We want to redo the Peck Theater. We want to, basically gut and redo the art wing just because there's not enough power and we need more space, more room. It's that types of things. Then of course, there's always that thing called money that kind of drives how this done. But this guides, we know what we want to do. And then it gives us, okay, let's go find the money to do this. But we also prioritize what's important to us to do. water clearly is important. We prioritize finding grant money, town money, whatever we need, having the right people to put that together. So master plan and strategic plan. This is a strategic plan. And the heart of every strategic plan is a mission and vision statement. The mission really is what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And the vision statement is to get this result. And a lot of this is what we have already anyway. So it's, that's really kind of what we're looking at. So the mission statement for the town that is proposed is to enrich the quality of life in Shoshone by strengthening community, growing local opportunity, so economic development, right? Protecting our natural surroundings and planning boldly for a resilient, forward-looking future. So that is, I think one of the big things for Shoshone is, and that's our locations. We're not only at crossroads, but, you know, we're surrounded by, you know, tons and tons of acres of wide open country land, BLM land. You know, we have the mountains to the north of us. You know, we've got the canyon that's here. I mean, we're really kind of an outdoor recreation paradise, honestly. And not to mention the fact that we have Boyson, you know, right there. And so if you look at our vision statement, a thriving, welcoming town at the crossroads of Wyoming, so sticking with the crossroads theme, and the gateway to Boyson country. I think Boyson, we're not taking advantage of that enough. And so that's where the Boyson country comes in, where people enjoy a high quality of life, strong community pride, expanding economic opportunity, and unmatched outdoor access. So kind of mission and vision. And every plan has, you know, also what are core values for the community. And so the ones that I'm suggesting here, community, opportunity, stewardship, I think was a big part, and heritage. People in Shoshone are proud of where we came from to get to here, you know, and that's really a big part of what the plan is and honors and respects. Resilience, I mean, booming bus cycles in Wyoming. I mean, nobody, we in Shoshone, we understand it, right? I mean, I'm new to Shoshone, but people that have been here for a long time, you've seen the boom and bust cycles, you see what goes on, you know, and so, but we're still here, right? We're still here. So resilience is a big part of that. And then integrity, you know, transparent, responsible governance. So those are kind of core values. Joel suggested adding another part under this values section, and that was with the cowboy code that he, you know, that we have. And I, you know, and it's I can pull up his.
But don't spit indoors and don't cuss in front of women.
That's number 4 and 3 on that list. Yes.
You said the cowboy code.
That's right. So, you know, it's the things like, live each day with courage, take pride in your work, always finish what you start, do what has to be done, be tough, but fair. When you make a promise, keep it, don't spit in the doorway. That wasn't in there, but yeah, it is now. Right for the brand, talk less, say more, be kind to women, you know, remember that some things are not for sale and know where to draw the line. So he wanted to have that as a part of this too. So that's been something that's been advertised by the town multiple times. So it's an easy addition in number 3, core values. And then the section 4 is the strategic pillars and goals. So the pillars are really kind of the broad category. If you're writing an outline, this would be the first title of that section. So pillar 1, quality of life and community well-being. Okay. And that kind of, and you can see, we're talking recreation, playgrounds, public gathering, housing. I mean, all this stuff is kind of covered in there. Number 2, pillar 2, economic development, local opportunity. All right. So we talked about that a lot. And then pillar 3, recreation, tourism, and outdoor access. Again, I think recreation opportunities out of Shoshone, that should be a key drawing card for people to Shoshone. You know, and as this motel gets up and running again, half of the rooms are done. Let's hope they finish up the other half. Tear down that restaurant, put a new one in. I mean, that sort of thing. I mean, So part of the outdoor recreation, okay, this may be a little bit, we talked about the shooting range and that's coming up in the roundtable, but shooting range development. And, so here's some guidelines on what we, the committee, so. And then pillar 4 is infrastructure and town services. So this relates to Mike and his crew. And then 5, heritage, identity, and community pride. And so, and then the next page is like a 3-year action. You know, these are just ideas, you know, and again, this is just a draft, but it kind of shows you this is how this could be developed and put together. And then lastly, in 6, metrics, not last, but metrics for success. Every plan that has, you should also have, okay, how do we know our plan was successful? How are we, you know, what are we looking for? You know, increased visitor stops, you know, growth of small businesses. You know, I mean, you can see some of those lists that are there. Stable and steady growing population, improved housing availability. A lot of these things we're working on, but they just haven't come to fruition yet. Number 7, partnerships and funding, and then 8, implementation and review. So this, so, you know, this is where this came from. I put in what I thought would be core values for the town. And I recommended, so I used AI to help construct this. And it did a damn good job, to be blunt. You know, I mean, I printed this out, I looked at it and I went, all right, nice job. You know, and I mean, I can tell you at the college, coming up with a document like this at this level of completeness, but also this level of fluency. I mean, it takes probably 30 people the entire year to put together.
Mhm.
I mean, it's really pretty incredible. AI did it for us. Not instantly. Well, actually, it was almost instantly, you know, but the fact is it was done very well and done. And again, this is a proposal, this is an idea, but I think it really kind of helps set the tone for getting people to know who Shoshone is, you know, defining who we are, putting it in paper on documents so we can, this is who we are, folks. You know, this is what you tell me. This is what I've seen. This is what not just me, but the committee. This is not just document according to Mark. This has been vetted and approved by the A2A committee. All right, so this is not the world according to Mark. This is the total committee working on this. And the committee again is myself, it's Joe, my wife, it's Ken Kundle, it's Lynn,
Thompson,
what?
Thompson.
Thank you, Lynn Thompson. I always forget Lynn's last name. I'm not sure why. Julie Ballard, you know, and also oh,
I can tell you. 1 second.
he's our former mayor of Du Bois. Yeah.
John Myers.
John, there we go. It's John. Yeah. Yeah. John doesn't like little dogs. Please put that in the minutes somewhere. You know, and Ken Kundle. Ken Kundle's a part of it too. So I think we have a pretty good star power group, you know, that's putting this stuff together. So I think it's a good group. I think the plan came together quite well. I'll add, you know, Joel's cowboy statements in here for sure, which is part of our heritage, really. So heritage is the town of Shoshone. So anyway, I'm just bringing it here to introduce it to you. I'm not, I think it would be inappropriate for us, particularly this meeting, to approve it. Okay, but I do think it needs to get out to the town. You know, and so this could be, Freddie, this could be a presentation at the, you know, for the, you know, Chamber of Commerce. I mean, it should be, and it should be a presentation, maybe a couple of them at, you know, the senior center. And maybe there's somewhere else. And the idea is to get it out there and share it and to see if we're missing anything, you know, but it's not necessarily to go out and wordsmith every sentence. I mean, the ideas are there. If something's grossly wrong, yeah, let's fix it. But yeah, well, I really prefer this word over that word. We're not looking to do that. You know, but we are looking to, let's make it good. Let's make it right. And let's make it something that Shoshone can get behind. And so, Chris, you know, I know that, I don't know, we had talked about developing a strategic plan and getting this to you. So this is this to you, you know, so as well. So I'm open to what next steps should be, but I don't want to see it die either, you know. Not saying that you would kill it, but
No, that's what we, like, with the things like the Shoshone Marketplace, we've kind of been in this percolator for 5 years and, we have lots of ideas and we talk about it and then nothing. And it's trying to start taking those next steps to look at the viability. And I agree that, now's the time to take this and continue building it and not just talk about it and then forget it.
yeah. You know, a strategic plan that's used well also, again, it should be there to help us inform our budget. Our budget process in the college. We just finished submitting things for next fiscal year. And every position that we bring, every change in our budget, any projects we want to start that are brand new. We have to tie it all back to the strategic plan and how does it support the pillars of the plan? I think that's a process that really works well. It keeps people focused at the college on what is CWC? What are we trying to support? I mean, what do we want to do? So
$20 says that at the next chamber meeting, they'd allow you to present that.
Wait, that's what I was gonna ask you, if you'd like to, our next meeting is gonna be on the 3rd of March at 5:30 at the senior center, going to set that plan then, I can introduce you.
And I would think if you just presented it and shared a little bit, and then we could revisit it in the near future and formally adopt it or not, be at the will of the council or governing body. Is that what you're asking? I mean,
yeah, I want your permission to go out and I want the council's permission to go out and start talking about it.
I think you should.
You got my
Yeah,
blessing.
got mine too.
I
Are
think
you good with this, Chris? Because
he doesn't get a vote.
well, I know, but he was going to talk about building a strategic plan, and I had said that I would give him a copy when we got it done.
Yeah, I think taking this and actually then crafting it into a comprehensive strategic plan. And this is the foundational piece that,
Yeah, and so you were out when I was talking about it. I mean, statutes, as far as I understand, they have two plans, a strategic plan and a master plan. Where the master plan is really the physical plan of the town. And the strategic plan is more the heart of the town and kind of what's important to us and what we do. So, I think what was done before as a master plan was too much. I mean, it was trying to be both a strategic plan and a master plan. That's my own personal opinion.
yeah, well, that's what we discussed that one day, or I think we both in agreement
Yeah.
that, I mean, it was a good step forward, in absence of nothing.
Right,
But,
absolutely. Yeah.
It didn't, it's time to now bring it together and really state what the mission of the town is, what do we stand for, what do we want to idolize, where do we want to go from here? And that's kind of what goes into the master plan from the building blocks. So,
I think it'd be a good idea for you to get it out and around and see if there's any positive feedback and what people, you never know what suggestions you come across and you go, oh. that's
well,
a
so,
great idea."
taking the vagueness and bringing it into focus. You start with a vague concept and then through talking with everybody, all the stakeholders in town, then you start to bring that into focus on the specifics.
I think it's a solid foundational start though. Like, I think I like it. Got my blessing, Mark.
Thank you. All right, so.
You don't need mine, but you have it.
I hang on your every word, Jake, so.
Oh, I'm
I
certain,
really
yeah,
mean
I
that. Yeah. And,
As long as there's a dog park at the end of the day, you don't care.
Oh,
Oh,
actually, the third. So That's next Tuesday at 5:30, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna have a hard time making it at 5:30. I could be there at 6.
Okay.
Is that okay? Because I have so I'm a dean at the college. My division meets, we meet the first Tuesday of every month.
Mhm.
And so I mean, it goes until 5, but to get from Riverton to here, to get there, yeah, just, so 6 would be
You'll have a police escort.
cool.
From Riverton to Shoshoni, have a police escort.
Could I just borrow a car? That'd be awesome.
Go ahead and take the charger, have fun.
You know, what was that? Was it a truck we saw today?
He told you to take the charger and I
Is
laughed.
it,
because
is the Charger, is that the bad one or? I don't.
That's the one I would want to be in a high-speed chase with.
If he wants it, I want
There's a reason that.
That's the one I would want to be in a high-speed chase with.
If you were
That's the
running.
one chasing.
You would
me.
win.
There's a reason the mayor got the Durango, not the Charger.
You mean the racer? Yeah, okay. All right, so 5:30, and where's that?
It's at the senior center.
Okay.
And just for your information also, we also are meeting on the 17th. Would that be better for you?
No,
No.
because I'm on my way to Cody to get back surgery on the 18th. So that just would totally not work. So that's why the 3rd works, because otherwise we're talking about April.
No worries.
I'd like to get it out there sooner, so.
No worries.
Okay.
Especially around 6-ish.
Okay.
All right, cool. Thank you. I'll wait and introduce you.
Great. That's good.
All right, no executive session reports of members of council roundtable discussion.
I have a couple things. They'll be quick and short. One was for Joel, but he's not here, regarding the developing of the town property for housing, where that's at with a realtor gal in
I mean,
Like I
was
guess
gonna-
where I'm at with it is it's just constantly wheels are turning, but I don't feel like we've got really any traction. And I'd like to, with
Start
spring
selling stuff.
approaching, I'd like to get there. Not only for other people to buy property, but hoping my house sells. So I could be one of the first.
You get to choose which one you want.
Neither here nor there, just for the right purpose. But I did have an individual, it's been the same individual, approach me again regarding the 3rd Street property down at this, I believe this 3rd Street, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the way at the corner there that has the stuff out by the fire hydrant in the road. Trailer house on the corner. Looked like they started making a little bit of
Yeah, I
effort,
was
then
gonna say,
then it just,
Pulled it back. and
he
then-
just kind of pulled it back to the fence line. I said I'd follow up.
The guy that arrested.
So. There was that piece, and then the airport follow-up with the gentleman that was here.
Right.
Yeah, Frank, did he take any initiative to get that lease swapped
He-
over?
He left me a voicemail. I have to call him back, and that's what it was about.
I do know that some other council members I have talked to went and looked at that hangar individually
Mhm.
and said in a nutshell, it bones are pretty solid, but could maybe use a little TLC.
I think they should just use the metal from the other ones.
And that there was some of those plastic style of sheeting, the fiberglass sheeting that's corrugated like some of the steel sheeting, but it's the fiberglass style that.
On the walls.
Yeah, that translucence light through. So I just was curious on that, and that's what I got.
I think you,
I got nothing.
Councilman Nordine,
I have something, but there's a shock, right?
you warned us.
Take one of this. So another project that we're doing on the HOA community is we're looking at. We're trying to do, you've heard this every, trying to work with the BLM to get the land transfer for the shooting range. Well, that project has kind of grown a little bit. And what you're seeing here is a map of, so where the 52 is on the map, right below that is where you'd find all the ranges. where you see the archery range across the, just further north, that we have access to that already as well. But, in talking with the BLM, what they really wanted to do is to get somewhat of a, not a detailed roadmap as of yet, but they wanted to see, what are you gonna use this? If you want to expand the range, your current range you have, what are you gonna do with it? What makes sense? And so, again, with the committee and with particularly Ken Kundle's, input, this is kind of the thought that we came up with. So on the map, if you see on the very bottom right-hand corner, it says proposed boundary. So if you follow that boundary over, that's a state section on the far right. You only see a sliver of it, but that's the purple. And then you head north up, going toward the highway. And then you'll see where the line just heads now east, basically back to Muskrat Road, and then straight basically south to this, and then end. And this is 120 acres and then 40 acres of private land. So the idea would be that land between private land and frankly, town land, that's all BLM land, and get that. So put that on a request for the shooting range to then expand what we're doing. What does that bring us? So under 52, again, that's where our current range is at. That pretty much stays the same. I mean, that would be the same configuration. But if you've been out there, when you pull in, you have to kind of go up a slide hill, and then there's parking up on the top, and then you have the pistol bays up on top. Well, that hill to the south, I mean, it really blocks parking, and it really blocks access to the second pistol range, which is in on the other, which is, you have to go through the gate. There's a gate there next to the stands, and go back to be able to get over to that range. Basically, if somebody's using the further north pistol range, you can't have access to that other range because people are shooting. And even if they are lined up, they'd still be lining up in front of the shooting line, which makes zero sense. So the idea is remove that hillside, increase the parking, but then also extend the berm between separating the two. And now you've got, a safe shooting range, but two separate safe areas to shoot. And one of those, probably the new one, the newly accessed one, that would be a perfect 22 range. Small caliber 22 range, basically, because shooting a 22 much past 50 yards, and that's really more like 100 yards in there, but I mean, it's going to give what you would need for a rimfire cartridge. All right, so that would have a little bit of changes, but really not all that much. The archery range, this is something that Julie Ballard is really she's our token archer on the committee. So she kind of helping us get set up with that. That would have two types of ranges. One would be a sighted in range, and she's got a really cool design for that, which is really, it's a hanging target, which I thought, well, that's fascinating. Any archery range, any target I've ever shot at over the years is, well, not over the years, a long time ago, years ago, was stand on a tripod or something else. It's a hanging range, so I target, so I'm going cool. But then also created a 14 station 3D, which is a field range, and go from little critters to probably our biggest would be like an elk. So, but it'd be a 3D shooting range and 14 stations. With 14 stations, here's the key point: we could start hosting events on that, and we're talking state events that we could do and statewide events. With that, I mean, the idea is to try to make this as profitable as a moneymaker as much as possible. So if you now come south from the archery range, you see the long distance rifle range, and then you see 3 lines extending from the 52, and it shows 1 mile, 1.3 miles, and 1.8 miles. The 1.8 goes all the way out. That's how much, it's almost 2 miles to go all the way out to the state land. But long distance shooters, really, they want to shoot at 1 mile. Right? So, right, our sniper lawyer, 1 mile would be good.
That's a long way.
Yeah. So anyway, so within that 1 mile, there's still, you could go, 1,000 yards, 600 yards, 800 yards. You could do multiple distances there. But anyway, those aren't meant to be three separate, they're just to show you 1 mile, 1.3 mile, and then 1.8 miles. So, and this is just where the trap range is sitting now. This would be just to the north of that. And it's not, there's not a lot of space there. So what it would be about 4 stations in all likelihood. Unless we built a platform that went out, and then at that point we could have more stations. Anyway, but so the key point is our shooting range gets developed, and then long distance rifle part of that range should be there. And then you see, as you follow down below 52, you see handwritten road. And so a road would be put in just north of the private property, and that would go all the way out, basically as far as you wanted to go up to the state land. But in there, the first thing would be 5 trap ranges. Trap shooting is a bigger thing in Wyoming than what I thought it was. I'm getting educated as we go here. We have a trap range, we enjoy it, and it's a lot of fun, but there's a national organization called the Amateur Trap Shooting Association. And what they do is they have state clubs or state affiliations, and our state club, which is the Wyoming Trap Shooting Association, they host multiple, every weekend during the summer, there's a trap shooting event going on. And that could either be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it could be Saturday, Sunday, it could be Saturday or Sunday. So that's a lot of that. And 5 ranges is like the minimum to be able to do that. So that's why the 5 ranges is there. And you can see with the arrow, that would be the direction that would be shooting. 5 ski ranges, again, same concept, same idea. And each of those blocks, I know they don't look the same, they're not the same, but this software that I was using, this is the map server from the county, and getting to learn their tools. Okay, this is a rookie first attempt. All right. So anyway, each of those is about 20 acres, 25 acres. And then the sporting clays is basically golf with a shotgun. And there's no set number of stations you would have, but you could have about 10 stations at least out there. And what you do is you move around to do that. Not all of these would be going on at one time. For safety purposes, you may have to shut down certain ranges depending on what was going. If you're shooting long distance, you certainly aren't going to be doing sporting clays, and you could be shooting in the other ones, but you're not going to be shooting sporting clays. Trap, it depends on how big our berms are. Can we safely keep our trap shooters safe and keep the rifle range folks from getting lead shot dropped on their heads? So there may be some. On Tuesdays, you do these. On Wednesdays, you can do these. On the weekends, all these ranges are open. So anyway, this is what we're looking at for the rifle range. This is what I sent to the BLM. This is what I'm trying to work to get turned over to. And talking to Sarah Naranjo out of the BLM office in Cheyenne. She's the one that kind of gathers all the information together, but that information has to come from Lander. So this is really to help Lander know why we need to have this, but then also to meet the list of things for a land transfer are just huge. And even then, with the land transfer, it would only be used for recreation. If we ever go off of the recreation part, the BLM will take it back. It's not for housing developments. It's not for businesses. It's for recreation. And that's what this would be used for. Just so you know. So anyway, I think it's pretty cool. That's kind of where we're headed. And hoping to get a lot of bang for the buck, you might say.
No pun intended, or
Kind of definitely intended. All right, I'm done.
anything else?
Yep.
Okay. So I just wanted to clarify that in our last meeting, it was brought up that I had blocked the lease price increase for the airport hangar in December. And I wanted to, that's in about 2 hours and 28 minutes into the YouTube video. You can see all that. I was called out specifically and it pissed me off because I didn't do it. There was one meeting in December. I was late because it was my children's Christmas concert. Mayor Highsmith presided. Nothing was brought up by Lisa's. You zoomed in. I didn't do what you said I did.
Well, it must have been the meeting before. And no-
Well, it's at 228 minutes thereabouts. You can see where you called now specifically on the December meeting. That didn't happen.
That's what I'm saying. It must have been the November meeting. But I think this is something you and I could talk about off the record, don't you?
It could have been before last meeting.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk off record, I can inform you where there's a lot more to the story, if you recall. I just haven't bothered to look it up.
Okay.
But I'm good with not bashing each other. We have that. But on that same December meeting that I was late at due to my children's Christmas concert, business licenses were discussed. And then again in January, we discussed business licenses. Did we get that all handled? On sending out notifications?
Yeah, the business license we got.
On follow-up
There.
on the delinquent business licenses specifically, we were gonna send out a letter to catch up or cease and desist.
Oh, the letter part.
Yes,
Yeah, Melissa has it all written up. I edited it, sent it back to her to go out.
oh, okay, I just touched base and I was gonna whine about the property sales, but no sense on that.
It's okay.
Anybody else have anything that's necessary to discuss tonight?
I'll make the motion, we adjourn this.
I will second.
Moved by Councilwoman Hardicke, second by Councilman Nordine. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye? Aye. Unanimous, thank you.
8:59.
Must have been the November meeting then.
No, start going through the meetings.
Sitting.
Daughter's